Hi everybody, and welcome to another episode of Cap at Home. My name is Miss Allie, and today we are going to be making these awesome moving paper fish. Now it's cooler than just a normal paper fish because this one moves. They're very fun and you can play with them, you can put them on a stick, pretend like you're catching them, however you want to do it, but I'm going to show you how to make them. So today we are going to need at least one full sheet of paper, any color that you want, and some scrap paper. I recommend 1 to 2 colors. Some markers, some scissors, and a glue stick. And that's all. So let's get started on making our accordion, our very fun moving paper fish. Alright, so we're going to start with our full piece of paper. And what we're going to do is fold it diagonally because we need to make a square. So, you want to fold it so that this edge folds in so you have a straight line here. So it would be lined up to this edge like this. So you sort of have this triangle shape. And you want to make sure you have a really good crease in that. So run your fingers along the side really good. And now to make a square, we're going to cut off this part. So where this edge meets here, we're just going to cut that part off. And you can fold this over if you want to fold along the crease or if you want to draw a line and fold it. I just cut right up to the edge of that paper like that. And we're going to put this to the side. So if you open this up, you have your you have a square now. So this fold in the middle needs to stay in the center. And so what we're going to do is take our sides and fold them into the center so that the edge of this paper is going to meet the center fold. Kind of like that. So this might take a second to get into the right position. So again, I'm just going to line it up with that middle fold. And I'm going to try and make a really good crease with my fingernails. So I have like that. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. So it would be sort of like they're meeting in the middle. Sort of like makes like kite shape. Or if you ever folded a paper airplane, it'd be kind of similar to that. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Again, I'm going to make sure I have a really good fold. Okay, so now I'm going to open that back up. So we have 1, 2, 3 folds in our paper. And so we want to fold it in half again. So like our original fold. So the crease is on the side, but you can still see our other folds. Alright, and so this is where we make some of the cuts for our fish. So it makes it the moving part. So this is really important that you see this fold that we already made, this crease. We're going to cut some small slits. So if you see in my example, I have some of these size, and that's what we're going to cut. We're going to cut about that thick. They don't have to be too big. And we want to start a little bit towards the edge at the pointy side, and we're going to leave a good amount of space. So I'd say about a quarter space left because that's going to be the head. So you can draw them out if you want, but you can also just go ahead and cut. And you want to make sure you're cutting right up to that fold, that crease. If you go over a little bit, that's okay, but try and stay right up to that crease. So see what I'm talking about? I'm just cutting right up to that middle crease right there. Now I'm going to again do it. I'm going to try and keep them about the same size, but they don't have to be perfect. You don't have to measure it out or anything. And you can make your fish any color that you want. I chose green because that's the paper I had on hand, but you can make it any color. It's easier if you make your little cuts a little bit thinner, because the thicker you get, it makes it a little bit harder to fold. So I'm going to leave about that much space left, and I'll show you why. So if you want your fish to have sort of like a rounded head, when you open it up, this top part where you have this extra space, you can go ahead and actually just round the side off. So I'll show you what I mean. I'll take a marker. You can do this in pencil, but for the sake of being able to see it. So you can actually just round this side off. So that way your fish has a more circular head. But if you want your fish to have a triangle or pointy head, that's totally fine. Alright, so it kind of looks like a stingray now. So now this is where we fold these parts over. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to fold these two outer layers. One's going to go on top of the other one, just like this. So what we actually want to do is glue one edge. Take our glue stick. You can also use tape if you have tape too. And we're going to glue this one whole triangle over here. We only have to glue one side because they sit on top of each other. Alright, so I glued this side. What I'm going to do is fold this one in. And since we've already creased our paper, this should fold kind of easily. So it kind of sits on like that. Alright, and if you have small hands, then you can even put your hand inside to press it down, make sure it sticks really, really good. You can squish the bottom a little bit to get it stuck. And this way, so when you have that glued, there is your accordion, and there's your fun moving fish. And so if you see right here where it's not moving so much, it just means that right here, it wasn't cut all the way to the fold. So when you are testing this out, you can even just gently kind of go like this in between all of your cuts to make sure that they can move, that they are cut enough to move. Alright, so we have our main part of our body, so we're going to set this aside. And that scrap paper that we took before when we were making our square, this is actually going to be the bottom part. Let me show you the bottom part of our fish mouth. So if you were to take a look here, we have this kind of half circle, and that's what we're going to make. So I kind of like to take my fish, and I'm going to set it on top of my circle, my rectangle, and I'm going to make a half circle, but I'm going to make small little marks so I see from what edge to what edge it has to be. So just like that, I just made 2 dots so I see how wide it has to be. And I'm just going to cut this into a half circle. There's also a really easy trick on how to do this. So if you want to, once you get the right size, actually fold it in half. Fold your piece of paper in half. And this way, you only have to cut one side. See, like this? So when I open it up, it looks the same on both sides. So this is going to be the bottom part of my mouth. So it's just a half circle. You can also just cut out this circle. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue the bottom part here. And if you are going to draw it out first, use pencil. I use marker so you can see what I was doing. So I just glued this bottom part, and I'm just going to glue it right inside. It doesn't have to be perfectly aligned, just enough. So that way, the bottom of your fish has a mouth. So I like to add a little inside of the mouth. So on this one, I have some red, sort of like the inside of the mouth. And on this one, I have a tongue. It's sort of like a tongue sticking out the inside of the mouth too. So we're going to kind of do that style. So I'm going to take, I have some scrap paper over here. Scrap paper is great to always have around. Especially if you've been making our Cap at Home projects, you know that we always encourage you to save your scrap paper. So what I'm going to do is make another half circle to go on top of here to make the sort of inside of the fish mouth. So I'm going to just go ahead and draw this out really quick. And I'm going to make it smaller than my first one so it fits inside. And again, you can do the same thing where you have a square, fold it in half, and then you only have to cut one half. So that way you make sure it's even on both sides. It's just kind of a cool way to do that. just like that. So then I can actually just glue it right inside here. And if you think it's too small, you can make it a little bigger, but I think it's okay. So again, I'm going to take my glue stick, glue the back of it, and I'm just going to set it on in the middle, just like that. I'm going to press down really good. So it just kind of gives the illusion of the inside of the mouth. So it kind of looks like that. All right. So I have some scrap paper, the small stuff that doesn't gonna help me. I'm just gonna throw that away. The other stuff I'm gonna set aside. Okay, so we have a couple more details on our fish. So we have some fins and a tail fin and some eyes. So I'll show you how to do those. So you can choose an accent color or another color that you have on hand. They can also just be scraps. So I have a few options over here. So let's say I'm going to make my fins blue. So I'm going to cut out kind of a rectangle shape. And I'm actually going to fold this in half. And again, I'm going to use that handy dandy trick to make my tail fin. So I sort of think it looks like a raindrop shape or half a heart. And you want to make sure you draw it on the fold of your paper because when you cut it, I'll show you how. Again, this is sort of like a raindrop shape or like half a heart. So when you cut it and you open it up, it stays together. And so you can draw a little design on this. Let's say, I want to do something similar to this little tail design I have going on here. So I might just draw a couple lines to give it sort of a tail fin feeling. Doesn't have to be much. I'm just doing some quick little squiggly lines here. Alright, so just something simple like that. And so all I'm going to do is take my glue stick, glue down the direct middle of that. So you're actually gluing on, if you cover this whole thing in marker, you're gluing on the top. And if you look here, your tail sort of fits right in the center there. I like to put it up so the top reaches like the middle of the heart per se. And I like to squish it down like that so it fits sort of directly in the middle. I kind of squish it down really good. There is your tail fin. So you can make that any shape that you want. It doesn't have to be that shape. Now we're going to make the actual fins. So those can be the same color as your tail fin. So I have orange on my pink one. Or you can do a different color if you want. So let's say for fun, I'm going to use yellow. Why not? So again, I'm going to fold my paper in half. And I'm going to do sort of a different shape this time. So I think it might be fun. Sort of I think this kind of looks like a leaf shape. You can also do the same sort of raindrop shape again if you want. Totally up to you. And again, I folded it in half. And now I'm actually going to cut along that fold, but this way I know my fins are the exact same shape. So they're actually going to go here on the side of my fish. So again, you can draw on them if you want. Just do some simple designs, or you could just leave it. Or if you don't have any colored paper, you could use white paper and color them in the color that you want yourself. So again, I have some two little fins. I'm going to go ahead and glue the edges. And you can fit them how you want them to go. And again, I'm just going to, I sort of put them on the bottom here. And squish down on the inside so they kind of are sticking out. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Glue the bottom edge. And I'm going to try and make it about the same spot. Put it underneath and squish. So I'm just kind of setting it underneath and squishing that bottom part down. Kind of like that. So you can make these the same color or different color or multiple colors, totally up to you. Alright, so we have some little fins and we have a tail. We need some eyes. So you can draw the eyes on, or if you have a little bit of black and white paper, you can use those. So I like to start out with a little square of white paper. Again, fold it in half. I like to do the least amount of cutting as possible. And I'm just going to cut a circle for the eye. You can, again, draw this out first if you want. So I have 2 little white circles. And I'm going to do the same with the black, except I'm going to make the black a little bit smaller. So again, a little square black, fold it in half, cut out a little circle, just making them a little bit smaller than the white ones. And again, you can draw this out first. 2 little black ones, and so they're going to sit right on my white ones. So I'm going to glue these down. And you can draw your eyes on, you don't have to cut them out like this. But if you want to, you can. Oh, I just dropped my black one, so I'm going to make another one really quick. Alright. You could also use googly eyes if you have them. Or if you wanted to use pom-poms and have them stick out, totally up to you. So I have my little eyes that I'm going to glue on the side here. And if you're working with glue, it's always a good idea to work on a table or work on something that is okay to get a little glue on or is easy to clean off. Okay, so again, I kind of look at it like this to try and get them in the right spot. It doesn't have to be perfect, but this way, our fish has eyes, fins, and a tail. Now, one more fun thing I like to do is sometimes add a tongue, and so if you see this example, I have a tongue kind of sticking out. That's fun. So I'm just going to show you quickly how to do that. And I have some red paper over here that I'm going to use for that, but you don't have to use red. It can be any color that you want. So I have the small strip of red, and I sort of like to make it sort of like a really long triangle. So it sort of looks like that. Okay, and so all we're going to do is you can use a pencil or a marker to roll your paper around like this. If you want it to be like a curly tongue, like this. You can also fold it backwards and forwards to make an accordion fold to sort of make a tongue like that. So it's totally up to you, whatever you want to do. I think this is just another fun, quick little aspect to add to our fish. So you can go ahead and take your glue, glue the edge of it, the fat edge, so it's kind of like your tongue gets smaller when it's sticking out. And then I like to glue it at the edge of the inside. So our half circle, the smaller half circle, I like to glue it at the edge right there. So, and it can be any shape that you want, but this is just another fun little aspect. And there is our fish. Now there's a couple other things you could do. If you wanted to decorate your paper, you could. You could draw on your paper. You could cut out some scales and add them to them. You could add polka dots to your fish. And if you didn't want it to be a fish, instead of adding fins and a tail, you could add little feet and it could be like a lizard if you wanted. Totally up to you. I think this is just fun. I like our little fish. So now you can play with it, make sure it bends, and it's super fun. So it's like having a little fish friend. So before we're finished, we want to make sure we clean up. So we want to make sure that all the markers that we used have caps on them. The glue stick that we used has a cap on it as well. The scrap paper that we can still use, we want to put to the side, again, to save for another Cap at Home project. And the pieces that are too small, we want to go ahead and toss in a wastebasket. And then when your space looks as good as new, then you are all set and ready to play with your paper moving fish. They're really fun. You can make a few of them and have your own little fish pond. You can wear them on your shoulder as a little pet, or you could even attach a string to it at the end here and then put it on a stick and act like you've been fishing for your fish. Totally up to you. Give your fish a name, pick some fun colors, and decorate. So if you make a fish, please feel free to post what you made in the comments of this video. I'd love to see it. And thank you again for watching this Cap at Home video. Stay tuned at 1 and 2 p.m. for some more videos, as well as Thursday for more Cap at Home videos. Thank you.